What is up? How's it going? Arathio's back to bring you something that you never saw coming, and I didn't see coming. But I thought it was a fun idea. I'm cracking into a tier list of an old game that I used to play a lot when I was a little wee lad, and then went back to play right now as well. I've re-energized my memory. So what we're doing right now is a Pikmin 2 tier list of the actual Pikmin. So Pikmin 2 Pikmin tier list. Unfortunately, the only ones I could find were of all Pikmin types, which makes sense. You probably assume by now people would have played through to 3. But I don't really remember quite how those Pikmin fared in the third game, because I never played the third game. So I can only really tell you how I feel about the ones in Pikmin 2. So before we get into the video, I want to explain where exactly I'm coming from when it comes to this tier list that's upcoming. It's a lot of cum. Either way, just so you know where I'm coming from and just so you understand why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, because this is going to be based on Pikmin 2 for the GameCube. No tool assists, no glitches, which means none of that taking in your whole army of Pikmin with just a captain reaching a cave. None of that immediate super perfect throws without you even having to try, with the intent of getting 100% treasures as fast as possible, no Pikmin lost. And without further ado, let's get back. So yeah, we're just going to crack right into this, just fly right through it. It really won't take that long to explain. So for starters, we're talking about red Pikmin. Now, red Pikmin are the baseline. It's just what you expect to find in every game. They're literally the first thing you get in every game. They got the schnoz. They're a little bit better in combat, and they're resistant to fire. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start. I'm putting red Pikmin between B and C. Now I think about it, I actually meant to put them in C tier. The fighting skill, that's really neither here nor there. But if you look at what they deal with fire, pretty much everything red Pikmin deal with can be dealt with by another Pikmin. You look at all of the hazards across all of Pikmin 1 or 2, you're either going to have those little flame spouts out of the ground, fiery blowhogs, and that's really where you see most of the fire come in. There's fiery bullblaxes in Pikmin 2, which is an actual threat, and you actually have to deal with that the right way. Or you can be cheeky and, deal with that with another Pikmin on this list, and then just deal with the consequences. However be that may, it's just most of the stuff that you find, like those little fire things in the ground, you can kill with other Pikmin without even having to worry about setting them on fire. Same thing with the fiery blowhog. All the things that fire Pikmin typically deal with and all of those affects just aren't really an issue. They can just be solved immediately with any other kind of Pikmin without even having to worry about losing anything or even losing that much time. So that's why red Pikmin just C tier. It's all right. They're not overly terrible. Like as a Pikmin themselves, it's just a nice generic Pikmin. But in the same vein, a lot of stuff that they really deal with can be dealt with by other Pikmin. So that's just why C tier. And then for our other friends here, starting next with the Pikmin you right afterwards, at least, is the yellow Pikmin. So this little guy, I'm going to put B tier. Being able to deal with electricity in Pikmin 2 is a big deal, especially when you're going with a no-loss Pikmin run, because even if you have a weird spawn, you might spawn next to open electrical wires at the start of a level, and non-Pikmin might just run to and get electrocuted. And it's that instant death behind electricity that makes it the problem that it is. If a Pikmin gets set on fire, you just call him back in, he's safe. Pikmin gets poisoned, call him back in, you're fine. Hit with water, for the most part, if it's another monster like a watery blowhog, you can call him back, fine. Even if you just kind of step into the water, you can then get out and then call them back, and then they'll still get out. Electricity is pretty much the only hazard that only one Pikmin type can deal with. That's an instant kill. Because you can throw a Pikmin off a cliff, they can get hit by a boulder, but there's no other Pikmin type that's going to not die to that, which is why yellow Pikmin being able to deal with a hazard on their own, that's an instant kill, is a big benefit. Because otherwise, all you need is one slight misstep, something's electrocuted, gotta restart the level again. That being said, they're not going any higher than B, because I really, really hate that high jump arc. It is... The only exception where I actually enjoy that jump arc is going to be for the man-at legs. Because, yeah, you need yellow Pikmin to get things that are higher up in levels, like in Glutton's Kitchen, and it's the Carmex on top of the stump. Like, there's certain things where, like, yeah, it's going to be a lot quicker if you just use yellow Pikmin, and you basically need them to jump that high to get that stuff. So it's kind of the game's way of making you need these Pikmin. Like, there's no way you can 100% the game without them. So, like, yellow Pikmin's jump height is a necessity for certain treasures, but other than those specific moments where you need them, it is terrible. It's already easy enough as you're running to launch a Pikmin and have them fly right clear off the side of one of the like mechanical levels. They can get thrown over things so easily. They can get thrown out of your range so easily. That long arc time, that long jump time, makes it a lot harder to kill monsters faster because there's so much extra hang time in between. And it really becomes an issue because if you're on the GameCube controller using the D-pad to cycle through your Pikmin, they're right next to purple Pikmin per se. And if you go straight from using purple Pikmin to accidentally picking up a yellow Pikmin for that long hang time, then it disrupts the stun chain. Unless you're taking out a whole floor of the diode beetles, it's just nothing but a pain. Or the man-at legs, because he's too high up and you can get a beat on him. Actually having to expose himself, but for that reason, they're not going any higher than B tier. You're definitely going to want them, but it's not anything fantastic. And then for our next, we're going to go with finishing off the trio, the original three that you saw in Pikmin 1. Blue Pikmin, I'm just putting straight into A, because blue Pikmin are the Pikmin that really drives home that need and necessity. Because it's like, yes, you need yellow Pikmin to get treasures that are too high up for anything else to get. And that's a benefit, and yes, you need that to make a 100% treasure clear run. But trying to eliminate a little bit of that necessity for Pikmin types based off those specific scenarios, because if that were the case, then everything would end up in S tier, because you need yellow Pikmin for tall things, you need water Pikmin for submerged items, you need purple Pikmin for the dumbbell or the globe and stuff like that. Technically for the latter you don't, but reasonably you should. But eliminating that need for necessity, because then it would just drive up most of the Pikmin into higher tiers anyway. Water Pikmin are the one that really, really, really are forced in Pikmin 2. There's just no escaping it. You need them. It is an absolute necessity, because caves will be drenched in water. Items will be submerged in water. You need them to get through large portions of the Perplexing Pool overworld to begin with. And that's not even talking about the submerged castle. You can only get in there with water Pikmin. Now, on the traditional GameCube, there's no way you can bring in an army of Pikmin unless they're in the main group of the captain who's going down the hole. So you can only bring water Pikmin into that to begin with. So that's the only way you're even going to complete an entire cave. So just with how much water there is in Pikmin 2, I cannot reason putting blue Pikmin any lower, just because you really, really, really need them that bad. You can still use them to eliminate open wires. You can still use them to kill diode beetles. It requires you to be a lot more precise, but they can go through water, which is just the biggest benefit you have in the game. If you looking back, there's just so many levels that have water in them. But this at least brings me into the next Pikmin in this list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going with white Pikmin next. And I'm just going to be putting them right in there, A tier. Never mind, below where the blue Pikmin are at. And see, what I'm going to be doing with this one is I'm going to be putting them still in A tier, still phenomenal Pikmin. Because again, there's the line of necessity. You need white Pikmin because there's so many items that are buried in levels or in the overworlds as well, where you just need them to be able to uncover them to begin with. So of course, there is that line of necessity, which is a little bit heavier strung than it is with certain other Pikmin. There's a bunch of walls on certain worlds that have the poison spewers in the wall, so they cannot be taken down with anything but white Pikmin. One of the things that I actually appreciate them for the most is for close turn reconnaissance team. There's certain hazards that will only be triggered if you try to pick up an item. And the reason why I love having a team of white Pikmin to do this with, especially at the beginning, at this point now, you kind of start recognizing where all the bull crap is hiding, so it doesn't really matter as much. But especially for when you're first wringing your head around it, having the white Pikmin be so fast. Baseline, as a leaf, they're about as fast as the flower types of the main 3 original Pikmin. With flowers on, they're as fast as the captain pretty much, even with the speed boost you get. With the child's shoe you dig out of a monster's gullet. But being that quick means you're going to be able to avoid anything. All of the hazardous dweevils, the exploding one, the pyroclastic one that blows up, you're going to be able to avoid all of that effortlessly. All the rocks that fall from the sky when stuff comes onto you. Any of the bombs that get dropped. You're going to be able to avoid basically every single thing on the map with those Pikmin if you just do a quick sweep. So with the rampaging long legs, just carry the whites around with you. They're so quick, they'll keep up with you. When it goes into rampage mode, you can easily back out. It's all those situations where the next Pikmin on this list won't help you, or where these guys are the next best option just because they are so quick. And in a game where it's so easy to lose one Pikmin, even when you're paying maximum attention, having these guys as your main troop allow you to react so much better to any of the bullcrap the game's going to throw at you. Which, as I've been alluding to, especially now with this one, brings us to the next main Pikmin that you can actually create. The Pick Carrot.
Nah, just kidding. It's the purple Pikmin.
The purple Pikmin S tier. No one can deny. If you've played Pikmin 2, you know this is the best thing the game has to offer. They carry 10 at a time, which makes it a whole lot easier to carry a lot more things back to base. But for the main feature, it's the combat. Literally anything in the game gets melted by the purple Pikmin. There's very, 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 very few bosses that don't just melt under it. The slowness is, of course, the main negative to purple Pikmin, because yes, they are slow, but just turn them into flowers and they're going to be fast enough for most of the things you're going to do with them. Because if you play in any, even just slightly smart, you don't have to play super smart. You can just play kind of smart with purple Pikmin, and you'll melt everything. The spotty bulbear that's running you down the map all day long, trying to regenerate, dead instantly. Stun lock, dead. Doesn't matter. The Bulbmin leader, that doesn't matter. White Wollywogs, the albinos, my arch nemesis of the game, Tamarite, boom, doesn't matter. Emperor Bulblaxes can't even get out of the ground, dead. They're just that good. They're that good. There's so few things in the game that you can't just annihilate with purple Pikmin that it's impossible to put them any lower than S. And especially when you're looking to complete the game as fast as you possibly can, and without losing anything, having a go-to Pikmin that can just melt big-scale threats is the most important thing you can possibly have. So, for the lives that it has saved me, and for all the Pikmin screams I haven't had to hear, I'm truly thankful to the purple Pikmin for all it's done for me. And to bring us now to the final Pikmin is the Bulbmin. I'm putting it right in D tier. And it's not because Bulbmin are bad. Bulbmin are great. In a regular run, having a Pikmin that is resistant to all hazards, barring getting thrown off a cliff or getting squashed by a rock or blown up, I mean, they're the most dangerous threats. So, I mean, that would have been nice if you had that. But at least being able to resist the other 3 is a very, very useful thing to have. It's a very wonderful Pikmin to have. The main caveat to it is that when you play a no Pikmin lost run, you're going into a cave with 100 Pikmin, and you're not going to be losing any, because if you have to lose any Pikmin, you're restarting the level anyway. You could, in theory, yes, run into a cave with a sub amount of Pikmin, kill a Bulbmin, then take his Bulbmin. But that's not exactly the plan. The plan is to move through as quick as possible, worry about as little as you can, and kill whatever you need to kill to get in and out. And part of that does not involve me having to plan around getting more Pikmin into my group later, when I can just start with whatever Pikmin I need at the very beginning. So because I'm never going to be entering a cave with less than 100 Pikmin, because I'm never going to be losing any Pikmin, I've never even seen a Bulbmin.
It's happened. It's just been a little while.
Well, there we have it. That is what the final tier list looks like for the Pikmin in Pikmin 2. Again, Not doing Pikmin 3. That's why those guys are down there. Not including it, because I can't really provide any additional intake on their usefulness. I haven't played the game. So just in case you skip to this point to get here, and that's the reason why those guys are still down there. Now, if you didn't read that it was a Pikmin 2 specific list, but no, that's fine. That's up to you. If there's any bits that you agree with or think I maybe may have left out, I'm sure there have. There's got to be something in there that I missed at some point. But if there's something that you really, really feel should be different or something you don't really quite understand, leave a comment below. I'm going to respond to it because this is something I'm really passionate about. It's a happy hill I will live on. Now throw that down in the comments if you think there's something wrong, something right, whatever you want, let me know. If you want to see more stuff like this in the future, you're probably going to be getting a Pikmin 2 cave tier list soon enough anyway. There'll at least be that, but if you want me to do any other similar tier list stuff or anything completely different outside of it, let me know. I basically have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just farting around hoping something fun happens. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. And then if you feel inclined from there, let me know why, because I want to make this as good as I can for anyone who's coming on. Either which way, I should be around a little bit sooner than the month and a half it's taken me to this point. But at least until we meet again, thanks for watching, and take care.